Hey everyone, welcome back to Mastering English with Podcasts. Today we're tackling a really important topic, why we fail. Failure is something we all experience, but understanding the reasons behind it can help us avoid it and move closer to success. Right, Ricky?
Exactly. We've all failed at some point, but the good news is you can learn from it. In this episode, we're going to break down 10 reasons why we fail and give you practical tips to avoid them.
And don't forget, our podcast includes on-screen captions, so you can read the words as we speak. This is perfect for those of you learning English.
All right, let's dive into the first reason.
Reason 1. Lack of clear goals.
The first reason is lack of clear goals. If you don't have a clear goal, you won't know what you're working toward. It's like trying to learn English without knowing what you really want to achieve speaking fluently, writing better. What's your target?
Exactly. A vague goal like, I want to get better at English, doesn't give you any direction. But if you say, I want to improve my vocabulary by learning 10 new words a week, now you have something specific to work toward.
Here's a great quote. A goal without a plan is just a wish. If you don't have a clear goal, how can you plan for success?
A tip to avoid this. Set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, I will speak English for 10 minutes every day for the next 2 weeks.
English learners, what's your current English goal? Share with us in the comments.
Reason 2. Poor planning.
The second reason is poor planning. Even if you have a clear goal without a plan, it's easy to lose your way. For example, you might want to improve your English, but if you don't have a study routine, how will you know what to do each day?
Exactly. Planning helps you break your big goal into smaller, manageable steps. If you want to become fluent in English, what are the steps? Listening to podcasts, practicing speaking, reading books. What's your plan?
Here's a quote for you. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Without a proper plan, you'll just drift without making any real progress.
A simple trick is to create a weekly schedule. Set aside time every day to work on your English. Maybe listen to a podcast during breakfast or practice speaking in front of a mirror at night.
Yes. I personally like to plan my day the night before. What about you, listeners? How do you plan your English learning?
Reason 3. Fear of failure.
The third reason we fail is the fear of failure. Sometimes we're so afraid of making mistakes that we don't even try.
This is really common with language learning. People are often afraid to speak English because they don't want to say something wrong. But making mistakes is how we learn.
Here's a quote to remember. The greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing you will make one. If you let the fear of failure stop you, you'll never succeed.
A way to avoid this is to change how you think about mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, see them as learning opportunities. For example, record yourself speaking English, then listen back and see what you can improve.
Yes, and don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on progress. What's a mistake you've made while learning English, and what did you learn from it? Share in the comments.
Reason 4. Lack of persistence.
Number 4 is lack of persistence. We give up too soon. Whether it's learning English or anything else, success takes time and patience.
Right. You might not see improvement right away, but that doesn't mean you're failing. Persistence is key. Keep going even when it feels tough.
Here's a quote for this. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Consistency is more important than speed.
A trick to avoid giving up is to track your progress. Keep a journal of the new words you've learned or how many minutes you've practiced each day. When you look back, you'll see how far you've come.
That's a great idea. And remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. What's one thing you've persisted at, even when it was difficult? Let us know.
Reason 5. Negative mindset.
The fifth reason we fail is having a negative mindset. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never be able to do this," you're setting yourself up for failure.
That's right. Your mindset affects everything. If you believe you can improve, you're more likely to take the actions needed to get better. Here's a quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
To avoid this, practice positive affirmations. Instead of saying, "I'm bad at English," say, "I'm improving my English every day." Focus on the progress you're making, not on where you think you're lacking.
Yes, positive thinking leads to positive action. Listeners, what's one positive thought you can start using today? Comment below.
Reason 6. Procrastination.
Reason number 6 is procrastination. We often put off what we know we should do. I'll study English tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes, right?
Exactly. Procrastination is a silent killer of progress. The longer you wait to start, the harder it becomes. Here's a quote. "You may delay, but time will not."
A simple hack to avoid procrastination is to use the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself, "I'll study for just 5 minutes." Usually, once you start, you'll keep going.
Yes, starting is the hardest part. Once you get going, it's much easier to continue. What's something you've been putting off in your English learning? Let's tackle it together. Comment below.
Reason 7. Distractions and lack of focus.
Number 7 is distractions and lack of focus. In today's world, there are distractions everywhere. Our phones, social media, TV. It's easy to lose focus on what really matters.
Especially with learning English. You might plan to study, but then get distracted by messages or videos. Here's a quote. Focus is the key to success.
A trick to avoid distractions is to create a distraction-free environment. Turn off notifications, set a timer for 20 minutes, and focus solely on your task.
I love using timers. It helps me stay focused. What's your biggest distraction when learning English? Let us know in the comments.
Reason 8. Overconfidence.
Reason 8 is overconfidence. Confidence is great, but overconfidence can make you underestimate challenges and not prepare properly.
Exactly. If you think, "I don't need to study, I already know enough," you might not be ready for real-life situations where your English skills are tested.
Here's a quote. Confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. To avoid overconfidence, always keep learning. Even if you think you're good, there's always room to improve.
That's great advice. What's something new you've learned recently? Keep that hunger for knowledge alive.
Reason 9. Lack of accountability.
Number 9 is lack of accountability. When no one's holding us accountable, it's easy to skip tasks or give up.
That's why having a study partner or joining a community is so helpful. Here's a quote. Accountability breeds responsibility.
A hack for this is to find a language partner or join an English learning group. Having someone to check in with keeps you motivated.
Yes. Who holds you accountable for your English learning? If you don't have someone, try finding a partner today.
Reason 10. Unrealistic expectations.
And finally, reason number 10 is unrealistic expectations. Sometimes we expect too much too soon. Learning English or anything else takes time and patience.
Absolutely. If you expect to become fluent in a month, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Here's a quote. Expectations are the root of all heartache.
To avoid this, set realistic expectations. Focus on small, gradual progress instead of big leaps. Celebrate the small wins along the way.
Yes, success is built over time. What's one small win you've achieved recently in your English learning? Share with us in the comments. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's leave you with an important thought about failure, especially when it comes to learning English.
Failure is a part of the journey. Whether it's struggling with pronunciation, forgetting vocabulary, or feeling stuck, these aren't signs that you're not capable. They're just stepping stones. Every failure is an opportunity to learn something new and grow.
Exactly. When you're learning English, you might make mistakes or feel like you're not improving, but remember that persistence and patience are key. Think of English learning as a marathon, not a sprint. It's okay to take small steps and learn at your own pace.
The important thing is to keep going. Don't let setbacks define you. Embrace them as part of the process. And as we discussed earlier, make sure to set clear goals. Avoid procrastination. Stay focused, and most importantly, believe in yourself.
Learning a language is one of the most rewarding journeys you can take, but it's not always easy. So, if you ever feel like you're failing, just remind yourself, failure is a sign that you're trying, and that's what matters most.
And with that, we want to encourage you to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Whether you've learned a new word today or finished listening to this podcast, that's progress.
We hope today's episode has helped you understand the reasons why we fail and how you can avoid those traps, especially in your English learning journey. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with others.
And don't forget to leave us a comment. What's one reason for failure that you've struggled with? And how are you working to overcome it? We'd love to hear your stories.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep learning, stay positive, and remember, failure is just another step toward success.
See you next time on Mastering English with Podcasts.